I'm losing my drum office. So I'm losing my drum office. I have this small space which I keep my drums in, and that I set my drums and do drum practice and that sort of thing. And unfortunately, I've got to move out of this space. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess because I'm moving. So I'm starting to set everything down, move everything around, trying to organise things, try and sort out where everything is. It's not a particularly organised space, especially now that I'm messing with everything. Okay, so let me tell you a quick story. I've been playing drums for about 15 years now, maybe slightly longer. I started in school. I didn't own a drum kit until I was pushing about 20, so I started drumming when I was about 14, 15, and I didn't have a drum kit until I was about probably 18, 19, 20, something like that. For the last 10 years I've taken it more seriously than I did before that, but this 10 years I've also, big chunks of it were actually playing in a band, and the focus was less on my personal development as a drummer but rather the band ambition. In fact, I played in several bands, so I haven't really taken drumming as seriously as I probably should have. Perhaps the last 4 or 5 I've taken it more seriously. So having my own space to practice and finally push myself a bit more, better late than never, is something that's been quite important to me. I got this drum room 1 year ago, the first ever time having a workable, manageable drum space for me to play acoustic, noisy drums in, and 1 year on, I'm losing it. It was good while it lasted. So, let me show you a little bit of my drum room. This is also for myself when I look back at this and feel sad, although hopefully moving on to bigger and better things, so it shouldn't be a problem. My snare shelves, I'm quite proud of these. I repurposed a hat rack from IKEA, and I took out the extra, you can see over here there are brackets for extra supports. I took those out so that the snare drums will sit sort of cradled so they won't roll off, and I don't have to store them flat. So that way I can store more of them without worrying that they'll just slip off at any point with the noise vibrations. I've also got some shelves with a bunch of other sort of miscellaneous bits and pieces on. I've got some bongos. We've got Darabuka Doombek type stuff from my time when I went in Egypt, which is very cool. A djembe, how do you guys say that? From Ghana. Guitar, bass amp, a saxophone, bits and pieces, some electronic stuff, and then my shelf, my pie shelf with all my, almost all my cymbals. I've also got some bookshelves with a few books and then a couple of rhythm magazines. Another drum from Egypt when I was in Cairo, as is this. As you will have noticed, I've got, it's not so much soundproofing, rather sound control. I've got these foam jobbies. I've strategically tried to break up the open surfaces of the walls around the room so that saves the sound bouncing around basically. So for the people working and living around here, it's slightly less harsh on them to have a drummer drumming away. Because I knew I might have to move at some point, I came up with a little system so I didn't have to glue them to the wall. So this was my solution. So I used acoustic glue and glued a sturdy sort of ribbon type thing. Focus. Anyway, so I can just hook that up there and it just breaks up the surface a little bit, and then if I need to move, which I do, I can just take them with me. Minimum damage to the space. I've sort of turned an old headboard into a bit of a bass trap, so padded it out. I've slightly moved it so it's not quite in the corner anymore. I have these cupboards which predictably have drums in. And I've also padded out this little area with packing. So when you order something online, you get all the sort of padding in the boxes and things. Instead of just instantly throwing that away, I've padded out any space that I could find in that cupboard, just so it just has mass in there to try and stop the sound. Of course I can just bin all of that, and then if I buy anything else, I've got more free sort of padded potential soundproofing. Cheap solutions to a significant problem for drummers. I obviously have my desk with a few production bits and pieces. It's an old iMac which I got second hand. I got the iMac when I was in uni, and I bought it using my student loan, which was a big sacrifice. I wanted to get my work done with minimal hassle. I was an adult learner, mature student, so living a fairly poor life, and instead of using my student loan and having a bit of a good time with it, which a lot of my friends went out and they would hang out and they would go for drinks and things, I kind of sacrificed that a little bit so that I could buy some technology to help me out, which is sad because actually I would have liked to have hung out with people a little bit more, and as a result I kind of avoided going out because I always just didn't have any money, because I didn't have a lot of money from student loan stuff. As a mature student as well, I've got bigger bills and things, and so yeah, it was a bit of a sacrifice, but it meant that instead of trying to book a computer and only use the time in uni when uni was open, which was a very 9 till 6 kind of thing. It was a very small music college I studied at. At the time they only had 10 sort of studio Mac setups, and there's 150 students or something, 140 students, so it was very, very tricky to try and get time on them, and it frustrated me too much, so I got that. It was good, it's a good choice, but now that I've moved cities I don't really see my friends as much, so perhaps it would have been nice to hang out with people a little bit more while I had the chance. So I got this drum room when I moved to Bristol 1 year ago, so I'm losing it after a year. Before that I lived in Birmingham, which is where I'm from originally. Before that, a few years before that, I actually lived in Paris, where I'm not from originally. So it's been a bit of a journey getting to this point, so it'd be sad to see this place go. I'll be taking everything with me, obviously, including my little, my original sort of Star Wars toys that I've got. The joys of growing up in the 80s, well, I've been born in the 80s anyway, the 70s stuff was going cheap second-hand at car boot sales and things, and these days people probably value it a little bit more than they did then. I think I've shown you everything. You can see that I have a space where I normally have a drum kit set up. Yeah, anyway, I've not posted a video for a while, so I thought I should probably explain that with the business of moving on the horizon, I've been working a bunch more. I've been playing quite a lot to try and sort out my wrist injury that I mentioned in a previous sort of vlog. So yeah, I've kind of let this YouTube stuff slip a little bit. It's just a bit of an experiment. I'll do a video at some point explaining why I'm on YouTube and why am I doing this? Why am I doing it? I'll let you know. But anyway, so sorry it's been so long. Yeah. Any questions? Oh, good. I'll catch you next time, and perhaps I'll try and get some clips of the moving and the state that this room is going to get. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and all of that gubbins. Say hello in the comments, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye.